So let's look a little bit at the tactics of the game and what was a bit different this time. So in terms of just watching it live and then watching the highlights back afterwards, it was interesting to see the statistics also backing up what we'd seen and how we were feeling about the game. So normally Tottenham tried to dominate possession, and we've got the 60 plus 70 plus possession statistics, whereas in this game actually Brentford had a slightly higher percentage of possession. That's slightly misleading from the point of view of Brentford using a lot of delaying tactics. And because they took so long over their restarts, actually it was a situation that every time the ball would turn over, the ball would go out of play or turn over, it starts the clock running on Brentford's possession. So it actually looked as if they had more possession of the football than they realistically did on the pitch. We were still completely in control for large parts. But what it did allow us to do is there were endings to our sequences. We were being a bit more committed. We were committing to the actions, which meant there were natural ends to those actions. The ball going out of play, the ball going out for a throw, interceptions, the ball being kicked back up the pitch and therefore restarting our possession and going again. And what that allowed us to do is almost play a slightly more counter-attacking style, even though we weren't necessarily on the counter. It was a situation where you were getting pockets of space on the football pitch because Brentford would be busy defending this action, and then if the ball was coming back to us, we could restart play, and we were doing that a little bit quicker and moving the ball a bit quicker than we had before. Individuals were taking responsibility and they were taking their opposite numbers on with possession and doing it really well, and that allowed an almost counter-attacking style, even though we either had possession of the ball, or if we didn't have possession of the ball, we were pressing high up and we were trying to get it, and the press worked. It worked several times to great effect. So that was really positive to see. And the differences in terms of seeing particularly Udogie stay wider than he might normally do, stretching the pitch, not allowing it to become so congested by coming into that inverted role all the time, was really nice to see. It was a change and it clearly affected Brentford. They couldn't quite condense the pitch enough, and maybe that had something to do with the fact that they couldn't then commit all those tactical fouls that they tend to spread around the team to stifle teams that want to play football against them. So that was really good to see. The rest of the team, there were some really good performances as well. We've talked about Maddison. Udogie looked really strong, which is great. It's a big turnaround from the way he has looked previously. He looked really strong defensively, and with the ball he was nice and sound. But also Kulusevski, he was, apart from his very first touch of the ball where sadly he pops it to nobody in the middle of midfield, which leads to the goal in less than 30 seconds. Apart from that, he was again excellent, securing possession, linking up the play, being an outlet. He's been playing fantastic this season, and long may that continue. My biggest shout out is going to be for Bentancur. I think Lolo in this game showed glimpses and large periods of time of the player that he was before he got injured. I've mentioned it in previous videos about the way he showed his defensive capabilities for Conte. He did that. So again, there was the situation where he was coming in on our left hand side. The beautiful tackle after one of the Brentford players had stepped past two of our players far too easily on the touchline. He stepped in not only with a great kind of reverse hooking tackle, but he keeps the ball in play. For all you students of tactics, you might remember this was something that he, over with that other lot, Arsene Wenger, used to train his players 20 plus years ago to do, was hooking slide tackles, not just the big booming slide tackles that sends the ball spinning off in directions. It was actually, how do you hook and maintain possession of the ball? This was a really common tactic and really deliberate area of coaching, and it's an area of coaching we would use with young players. And Lolo produced an absolute beauty where he hooks the ball, keeps it in play, plays a little 1-2, and then plays the ball into the channel. Really nicely done. He deserves a special shout out because he was excellent. He then started to tire, and we had the very positive situation about being able to bring Biss onto the pitch. And apart from that first yellow card, he then played really well for the remainder of the game. So delighted to see that. Delighted for Bentancur as well. Romero was fantastic throughout. Mickey van der Ven did well. Porro was okay. As I said, he had that one defensive action that he didn't cover himself in glory, and this is an aspect he really needs to work on. The going forward stuff is there. He's a fantastic footballer technically, but he needs to improve his defensive capabilities. That obviously then brings us on to Vic, and this is a topic that's definitely worth talking about. I'm not one of these people who falls into the black and white camp. There is nuance to everything, and we love Vic, we love his character and his personality, and it came out in Ali Gold's media that he's been added to the leadership group at Tottenham, which I totally agree with. He's got the personality for it, but he needs to back that up with his performances, and there are some glaring issues in his performances. He continues to wobble under the high ball, and again, I say it over and over again, I am unconvinced by his footwork. As a goalkeeper who's known for being a keeper who's good at playing out for the back, I'm not actually sure he is that good, but I don't think it's his technical ability. I think he's got a lovely pass on him if he chooses to do it, and he's got a range of kind of passing, mid-range and short passing. I'm not sure how good his long ball is, but he's got the ability. I believe his footwork lets him down, and I think that stems from a lack of confidence. And it's similar to coming to claim the high ball. These are bravery and confidence issues that lead to your timing being off. We all know it in terms of whatever level we've played at. When you're not feeling confident, your timing's all over the place. And Vic showed both elements of that. One where Mickey ran in, did Mickey things, winning the ball deep, playing a simple layoff to Vicario. They had actually Brentford had managed to get quite a few players up with their attack, which meant they were able to commit a few players into a press. And all Vicario needed to do, if he was completely unsure, is obviously hammer it away, which is not what the manager wants. I get that. But sometimes it needs to be done. If you genuinely can't see a pass, or if you're not concentrating and you can't see which pass to deliver, you've got to make a decision much quicker than he did. He didn't. He dallied, and he just about got away with it on his own goal line. It only takes a little deflection or a little poke from the attacker, and it's 2-2. And it's been us shooting ourselves in the foot. And then the other one is obviously the juggling act, the circus act that he pulled on the edge of his box. I have absolutely no idea how that didn't get given. It's not a red card. Laws of the game, that would have been a yellow card. He wouldn't have gone off, but I can totally see Brentford's frustration. And obviously, they then picked up a couple of yellow cards, I think, for Thomas Frank and for one or two of their players as well. And again, they are absolutely right to be furious about that. You would want that, and you want that free kick on the edge of the box. It was a ridiculous situation. He misreads the flight of the ball. Again, he doesn't get his feet moving quick enough, and he doesn't get himself into a position to take possession of that football, and he should have. And that's really disappointing. So I want to see him working on this. He's not comfortable in those elements, and it's one of those things to say that if you get a goalkeeper of Vicario's age, it can sometimes be very, very hard to go from looking really, really wobbly with the ball at your feet or under the high ball to becoming one of the best in the world with the ball at your feet or under the high ball. So I don't know where we go from here. What we want for Vicario as fans and as a supporter base who want to back him, we want to see him go on that journey. And all of a sudden, he's working on it, and he's coming, and he's claiming more than he's missing, and he's punching, and he's clearing things, and he's massively improving. That's the hope. Him being a bit quicker with his decision making with the ball at feet, and playing the ball into midfield or just clipping it over the on-rushing attackers into players out wide. We want to see it. I don't know whether we're going to see it. And at the end of the day, we need to leave some sentimentality at the door if we're going to get where we want Tottenham to be, which is genuine challenges across the board. It may well be that you need to upgrade. And you know, there's lots of unpopular thoughts and decisions that could be made. There's lots of players that could be upgraded on in this Tottenham team. And sometimes you have to kind of leave the fact that you really do like them as personalities and people, and they fit in well and stuff like that. And you know, that lot down the road did it, and they did it to great effect. Everyone, was that the right thing to do, bringing in another keeper over your very, very good first choice? Turns out to have been a masterstroke. But anyway, right now we're behind Vic. I'm behind Vic. I want to see him sorting this out, and I want to see that confidence flowing through him. And maybe it is just a confidence issue because it's not a technical issue. So if that gets him to where he needs to be, then I'm totally here for it. And I'd love Vic to be our long-term goalkeeper who you know is raising trophies over his head frequently. So that's what we want to see. The only other thing to mention is Son. I've seen plenty of criticism of Son, and you know, debate on whether he's had a good game or he's had a bad game. Statistically, he had a very good game. He's obviously got 2 assists. What I will say is there was an element of, he was in twice. He had 2 1v1s, and over the years of any Tottenham player, and that includes Harry Kane, our 1v1 guarantee specialist has been Son. If he's running in, apart from against Man City, but you know, many people weren't that disappointed. It's a banker, you know, right foot, left foot. He is clinical. He's one of our best finishers. He had 2 opportunities where I felt he delayed too long, and on both occasions the opportunities were missed. So from that perspective, yes, you could argue that there was more he could do, but he had a very, very good game. I think he looks tired as well. People saying his legs have gone, which is absolute nonsense. I'm not sure you see how quickly he is moving. And if you want proof of the pudding, wait until 70, 80 minutes into a game, watch him running onto the ball and watch him running away from players. So he is the player with the ball at feet, and he is still moving away or keeping equal distance from defending players who just have to sprint back. It just goes to show you he has not lost his legs. But yeah, there were moments where maybe in the past he would have taken chances a little bit earlier and he would have scored them. So certainly stuff he can work on, but again, I really do think he's a bit tired. So just wanted to address that as well. Right guys, this has been quite a long video, but overall very positive. We need to iron out some of the mistakes. More individual errors I felt on the weekend than collective. Good to see some changes in the tactical system, and I think we will continue to see more of these incremental changes and styles for different teams. The deeper we get in with Ange, and the more players we add to our roster, and the more time they get to play together. So I'm here for it. I'm looking forward to it, and actually it makes it much more fun when I'm thinking about the game from a coaching perspective. Anyway, thank you. Long video. Look after yourselves. We've got Europe this week. To all of you who are going to be in the stadium, I look forward to seeing you. Have a great week, and come on Tottenham.